to the Rat Hole for another episode of The Whole Conversation. Tonight's guest is Andrew from Silence and Solace. Let's check it out. What's up?
What's going on, Jared?
Not a whole lot, man. Excited to have this convo. I've been wanting to talk to you for a little while.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to it.
So, I've got to ask the old cliche questions that I go through with everybody, because these are the things that a lot of people want to know, first off. And then we can dive off into the really juicy stuff and talk about, childhood and other things.
Okay.
So what got you into music, first off?
Oh, man. My parents had a real big influence on me getting into music. They, going into college, were in choirs and stuff. My dad was a song leader for the church that we went to, and I just always had music around me. My brother and my sister were in in band in high school and all that kind of stuff, and kind of got me started out in middle school. I did choir, and kind of just around the age of 11, I had interest in writing music and ended up picking up guitar and just kind of slowly went from there.
That's pretty sweet. So, what got you into the chunky stuff?
It's really crazy because, honestly, if you were to ask me, what made me pick up a guitar in the first place, it had nothing to do with, metal music or anything. Because, all through and through, I grew up, my dad had me listening to, the Doobie Brothers and ELO, and I didn't even get into stuff heavier until maybe my freshman year of high school is when I finally took a chance on Metallica, and I had always heard songs, but I never really gave it much thought or anything. It's I always knew Enter Sandman and all that kind of stuff, but honestly, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this probably, but what really made me want to look into more Metallica stuff was the Saint Anger CD, which that gets a lot of hate, but the Frantic song just got me hooked, and then I was all right, I got to see more of this and dive a little deeper into it, and it's just slowly from there, I guess the very first metalcore kind of band that I ever listened to was As I Lay Dying. The very first song I ever heard from them was Through Struggles, that music video.
Yeah.
Just when the first time I saw that, and I was just okay, all right, now I think I found a new realm of music that I'm just gonna go head first and just see how far down the rabbit hole goes.
Yeah, that's been a similar start-off story for a lot of the people that have been on the show. The last episode that I did, we talked about something completely similar to that, and you were right, what we talked about earlier on the phone. Your story is really similar to mine.
Yeah, I don't want to flip the whole podcast for him, but you grew up in a relatively conservative household as well, too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I got a whole background of preachers, deacons, and song leaders all throughout my family.
Yeah, my grandma played the piano at the church. My dad was a deacon at the church for a little while. I was raised there. I did the specials all the time. They ran the Sunday school and the youth group, and it was just, I live in a little village and I have a giant family, so we did all of it. And that's just how it goes. And music was always there. It's always been there, and that's just, they kind of go hand in hand, and then you kind of branch out. And thankful for, a lot of the people that have had similar stories like that is we tend to usually end up being vocalists.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely when I took the turn, I think it kind of surprised some of my family when I wanted to do choir, since everybody else in my family had done band. But like I said, my parents did choir all through college and stuff, so I don't think it was too far out there, and I just always enjoyed singing, and that was something that I always watched when I was when I was like a little kid watching like the VH1 music videos and MTV. It was just like I wanted to be the person with the microphone.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And like for me, it was really confusing because I was always a vocalist, but then I had the desire to do everything else too. So I just
Yeah.
like overwhelmed myself. Like I chose the most expensive thing to do, which is everything.
Yeah, that was me as well, because I just wanted to be able to construct an entire song by myself, and I just came up short. Man, can I not hold a rhythm on a drum set, though. Anything, you give me anything with strings on it, and I can figure out pretty freaking quick what to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, you throw me on a drum set, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do with my hands.
See, fortunately for me, it was one of those things where they were like, "We need a drummer," and somebody just handed me sticks, and I was just like, and it was just a thing that happened, and so everybody's like, "You're a drummer now," and I've been stuck there ever since.
Hey, drummers are needed.
Yeah, they are.
It is hard to find good drummers, and you know what? If you get something you are passionate about and can stick with, you know what? More power to you, man, because drummers are needed in the music community.
But when the drummer writes all of the guitar and wants to play guitar, then it just sucks.
Yeah, something that's really kind of interesting about even Silence and Solace is we are all over the place. Because I mean, like, I play guitar and I can play bass and stuff like that. But even like our bass player Josh, he plays guitar, he sings, and he plays drums. I almost feel like Silence and Solace is like a side piece for him because he plays drums in a band that plays way more regularly than we do.
Yeah.
And even our drummer, he plays guitar, and before in Silence and Solace, used to be a vocalist way back in the day. So we all have different areas where we know how things work, and that just gives us all a little bit more input to have in how we create our music.
See, that's something I've craved my whole life, man. I was just like, man, if I could just get one more me, we could make this happen, and we could just like switch and do whatever we wanted, and it would just be awesome. But I'm just surrounded by amazing guitarists that are just really lazy, unfortunately.
And I love having Brett because I'm someone who I know what I want to hear. I know what I want to write in my head. And I'm nowhere near as good of a metal guitarist as Brett is, but I can just be like, I can take his guitar and I can play like kind of what's in my head. I'll hand him the guitar and he'll completely clean it up and be like, yes, that is it. Do that again. Record it now.
Yep.
Ship it.
Yeah. That's how I used to do it with some of my old guitarists before I picked up a guitar and figured everything out. Like, I would look at them and I would be like, okay, I need something like this, and I would just do the Jack Black mouthing thing, like, and they would be like, oh, that's fucking sweet, and they would just be like, okay, oh yeah, okay, and I'm like, now double time it, and I'm like, yes, that's it. So that's how I used to do it.
Those are beautiful moments, man. That's when you feel like the magic.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest like things that I just love in music is it's the creating. Mm-hmm. And it's like those little things where you just hear that millisecond thing. Wait, do that again.
Yep.
Do it again. All right. Let's maybe try it like this. Do it again. And it's just that build up and the creating process that it's just like, it just gets me amped.
Yep.
Just to like write stuff.
Yeah. My buddy Bobby, he calls that stuff, he calls it the chilies. He's like, man, it just gives me goosebumps. It feels so good. He's like, you know it. He's like, you hear it, you feel it, you're in the moment. He's like, I call it the chilies.
I would say that as an accurate description.
Yeah. And that's something like just raw chemistry that you have with people. Like, you either have it or you don't. You can definitely develop it, but it's way, 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 way more natural and better off if it just happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's something we did with our first EP, NTS Beryllium, where a lot of those songs were they started out as one riff. We got together, and Brett would just play it over and over, and Dave would just figure something out to go along with it, and then Brett would just kind of improvise and say, like, this is what feels natural to come after that. And that's how, like, if you listen to our EP, Hookshot was the very first song Silence and Solace ever wrote, and it all kind of started like with how it starts. I mean, the and we would just starting out, we just played that for like 5 or 6 minutes straight, just that one riff. And it was just like, yeah, now we just got to like make that not be so darn repetitive and just add more to it.
Yep.
And something that's kind of a little different with us right now is that as we're writing stuff, it's more studio based. We haven't gotten all of us all together in one room and be like, let's write something.
Yeah.
And like play it all live and just figure things out more. So it's like write a riff, try and figure some drums out on our own in the studio. We figure out everything guitar-wise and bass-wise, and then we email it out to our drummer, and he kind of just listens to it 1,000 times and plays along to it until he figures out what he likes, and then he midis out everything he does, sends it back to us, and we have a demo.
Yeah. See, I get to skip a couple of those steps because while I'm writing the guitar, the drums are happening in my head. So, and I'm also the guy that writes like probably 80% of the lyrics.
Yeah, that helps because you're a drummer. Brett and I don't have drummer brains, and we just like, we bring out the most basic 4/4-3/4 patterns, and we're like, this sounds okay, let's give it to Dave so he can just make it a masterpiece.
Yeah. See, I don't even consider myself a drummer because that, for me, a drummer is somebody who works for that title, kind of like a doctor. I'm just a guy who got lucky, and I happen to feel it.
I mean, that's okay. I mean, even like, I don't know if you've seen like back in the day when As I Lay Dying came out with their documentary DVD, because I bought that the second it came out, because their drummer, he just got thrown into drums, never played them, and he's like, well, I guess I got to learn how to play double kick, and he learned it all in 1 week and was already doing the first album. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yep, that's kind of how it was for me, but it was about a probably 5-month period, and I went from not being a drummer to being a metalcore drummer, playing stuff very similar to As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, and like all that's like, it's crazy to see how all of it has kind of changed, and how some of like the bands that I grew up listening to tried to evolve or somewhat like stayed the same. Like, cause I like one of my biggest bands I listened to is also with As I Lay Dying was always like Killswitch Engage right from the beginning, from their EP.
Yep.
Gumming all the way up.
Yep.
I honestly I kind of started to tune out a bit once Howard Jones left. Not saying that I got anything against Jesse or anything. I absolutely love him, especially on the first 2 albums. And I don't know, I just feel like my taste kind of moved on a little bit, but still to this day, like album all the way up through As Daylight Dies, it's just like that. Those are masterpiece albums to me.
Yep.
And I basically learned how to play every single one of those songs on guitar.
Yep. Me too. I could play the whole Shadows Are Security album from As I Lay Dying. I could play all of the first 3 Killswitch Engage. I could play the first 2 Parkway Drive CDs. Like I had a playlist that I used to wake up every morning, and I would just play them over and over and over and over until it just helped me learn different patterns and just different things. And I got to the point to where I just stopped doing that, and then I went from that to playing only my stuff for like 8 years. I didn't even listen to anybody else's music. I completely cut myself off and was just writing like 8 different genres of music all the time.
Yeah, and I really got thrown into a whole new realm of music when I joined my first band in, like, when was this? 2009 was when I joined my very first band. We were called Beyond the Gates, and we were just a real basic 4-piece metalcore band. And that's when I kind of got introduced to like Under Oath and The Devil Wears Prada.
Yeah.
And who else? And they even showed me more stuff like Job for a Cowboy. And they also introduced me to like Norma Jean and Impending Doom.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So that stuff just like blew my mind away from like the Kill Switch Engage stuff, just because I don't know. I mean, although I'm able to say that Kill Switch Engage is like one of the forefathers for metalcore. This was just more new age, and like I was seeing these bands that were around the same, like the guys the same age as like I was, writing music, and it's like, okay, this is what's going on, this is what's coming up. And
yeah, it was like a
that was
prodigy.
kind of what, yeah, and that's kind of what our band was trying to stick with.
Yeah.
And I honestly, even if because we got there's an album, there's our little 3-song EP still floating around for free on like Bandcamp. And we got it produced by Nick Scott, who does all kinds of bands, big bands. He did like the very last Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza CD.
Yeah.
He did Alpha and Omega. We were actually in the studio a week after they got out.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I were to listen to that album, I don't think it would hold up to the music that's out now that's being popularized and stuff like that. Even though I love the mix, I love the sound of it, I just really don't think that our music from that band would stand the test of time to what's being played and mostly listened to today.
See, I take an opposite approach to that. People are always making fun of me for being a dinosaur because I refuse to change, because it always comes back around. Because the way it works out for me is I always seem to be just a smidge ahead of the curve. And then before I can produce something, it's too late. And then I just hold on to it, and it comes back around. And so, like, I've been stuck in like 2001 to 2007 for probably, since I left 2007. Like, I don't think I ever left. And those were the glory days for music for me, and the mix and everything. To me, I like a little dirt in my sandwich. I like a little dirt in my mix. Like I'm an all natural plug and play. Give me that feedback and whatever else is in it kind of guy. Like I like that live sound because I don't like to fool people from what they're going to hear when they come see us at a show. Yeah. And we oftentimes end up being way better live than we are on recordings.
Yeah, that's always a good thing. You don't want to have this crazy, overly produced album that just sounds so crisp, so clean, and then you get up on stage and they're like, "Who the heck is this?"
Yep, exactly. And like we played some pretty like Haggard style music. Like we were on the dirty like southern end of metalcore. Like we were like just above Every Time I Die in the metalcore. Like if you took Every Time I Die,
oh yeah, one of the best live shows I've ever seen.
Oh yeah, if you took like Maylene the Sons of Disaster, Every Time I Die, and then the Black Dahlia Murder and As I Lay Dying and just mashed them together, that was our band.
There you go. I love that. I love that southern metal style, man. It's just that was some of like. That introduced me to like groove metal.
Yeah,
like there was always just like a type of groove to it that I just love.
Yep, everything that I write when it comes to that stuff, it always has a swing to it. Like you can either headbang your ass off or you can dance to it. Like everything I do has a groove to it. But I also come from like a gospel R&B kind of background too, so like that's just natural to me. I got a little extra soul in there that I need to get out. Yeah.
I mean, like for my personal like style of music that I write, I mean, I got a little amp back here, a little orange amp, and a little 6505 PV right here, and then I got a Les Paul. I don't really write like personally on my own time. I don't write metal. I'm a blues guy. I'm a blues rock guy. Like honestly, but again, seems completely out of left field. When I first picked up guitar, it was because I loved a lot of the music from like John Mayer. I loved that blues style music, and then now like one of my favorite artists is like Gary Clark Jr. and listening to old Stevie Ray Vaughan stuff and all that kind of stuff. That's what I play. And then even like more instrumental music that's getting big now, like Covet and Chan and Polyphia, that kind of stuff, just that I can listen to that all day long just while I'm working.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I like to try and strive to teach myself how to play as well. The super heavy, chuggy stuff and riff stuff, I mean, I have ideas, I have a lot of inspiration, but to really play it myself, I can lay the ideas out. I let Dave and Brett perfect it.
Yeah.
And with their ideas as well, their twists when I have an idea.
Yeah.
But they do one heck of a job themselves, like coming up with some good stuff. I love it when Brett will just send me a clip over Facebook and say, hey man, check this out, what do you think? And then it's like I can listen to 13 seconds of a clipping and be like, I already can hear what needs to be right after that.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's good that you guys can have that cohesive writing style. Like I said earlier, that's something I've always just really needed here. Like, not to say that I haven't had good writing partners, or like that I still, like I still have good writing partners. It's just not in the way that I need it. Like I need somebody, like the way that I am with things is like I bounce around and do so many different things. I'm involved in so much, but I'm trying to like put the pedal to the metal in so many different directions. Like I get so excited about things, and I want to do all of it. So I need somebody to be there with me for it. And when I can't have somebody physically here with me doing it, like I love the writing sessions. Like we're sitting in my studio right now. Like I have an instrument room right there with a table for meetings and a wall of amps and all that, and I have the vocal booth back here, and like we have all of it right here, guys. You live 9 miles away. Why can't we get this done? Like it's all right here.
Right. And then when it comes to that, it comes to like priorities, what's your goals, what's your time? I mean, I like on top of being in a band, I have 3 jobs. I have one that I use to pay the bills, and I have 2 that I do for passion. I just do because I enjoy. Yeah. Because I do my regular day job, and then I chose to start my own photography business that I try to occupies my weekends every so often. And then I also work like part-time at a local family-owned gym around here because I know the family and they're good people, and I like to help them out. So I also run their media and help them out in that way. So it does kind of sometimes make it a little complicated to really work on music. And sometimes I think that's why Silence and Solace can kind of drag our feet when it comes to writing some songs. And but that's not like we have completely different goals than probably a lot of the other bands that you'll normally get on here, you'll normally talk to, because not even all of us in the band are necessarily out on the same wavelength, which isn't a bad thing, because we just had a conversation where our drummer Dave, he loves playing shows. He absolutely loves to be on stage doing shows, and he loves being a part of the party. He loves going to the venues and having a few beers before he gets on stage, have a beer while he's up there on stage, and just have the best time of his life.
That's me.
And that's great. And that's great. I love that he has that motivation, and it shows. He is a showman. I get so many people coming up to me and saying, I love watching your drummer. I was like, yeah, because this is his showcase. Yep. I mean, for me personally, I love, like I said earlier, I love the creating process. Yeah. I'm someone who I don't necessarily feel like I ever need to be on stage. I don't have that need. Yeah. But it's fun that we get to do it. I am completely content being in the studio, just putting out good quality music for people to hear. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I like doing shows. I'm very much an introvert, and can be quite have a lot of social anxieties. But I like talking to people. I like meeting people. That's like completely opposite of what I just said, being social anxiety. It's the idea of being on stage that can sometimes freak me out. But as soon as that backtrack clicks on and I start doing my thing, it's like everything just fades away, and like, this is what I'm doing right now. Yeah. See, for me, I'm a lot like David. I need to perform. I need to be on stage. I need to entertain. When I was drumming for the last Quitter show,
I did the same routine. I had a couple beers when we were watching the first band. I made sure to be right up front, like singing along with them and cheering everything on. And then I always take one back there to drink with me while I'm, during the set. And then we were playing, and I did a lot of extra drum fills and a lot of, I kind of did like drum solos and things just because I was feeling it that night, and so was the crowd. So I was doing it. And then, I got done, and the last thing I did for the night, we always open our set with an instrumental and close with an instrumental. And the last thing that I did for the last part of it was just big, ridiculous drum fill, and just kept getting faster and faster and faster and faster until I thought that I couldn't hold it in time anymore. And then I just broke it down. We ended the show. I threw my drumsticks. Both of those drumsticks come back to me to get signed, and they said that they enjoyed watching us play because they enjoyed watching me play drums. And so you're flipping sticks, and you're headbanging, and you're making faces, and you're yelling, and you could just tell that you want to be here. And I'm like, yes, I do, and thank you for coming to watch me do it.
Right. Yeah. And that's what it's about for some people out there. That's great. That's great. You get that acknowledgement. You went out, you did your thing, and you know what? People are going to appreciate that. They're going to see you. They're going to see the real you. Yes. And what you're out up there. And I think that's what's going to connect more with people. And that's what it is. Like, even with like when you were talking with Tyler the other day, that's what it's about. Getting out there, connecting with people, sharing your story, showing you up there. And that's what's gonna impact people the most.
Yep. I'm all about, I'm all about the experience, man. Like I want to get out there. Not only do I want to experience life, but I want to make some sort of impact or imprint on someone else's. And if I can do that in a positive way while I'm having the time of my life, then my life goal is accomplished. There's no reason to stop at one, just keep going and just rack up as many as you can. Max out your toll before you close your book, you need to. Too many people waste so much God-given talent that people would kill for, and it just drives me crazy that there's so much just sitting right here. You're looking right at it. Just take it, man. Just do it. If this is what you want to do, you would have grabbed it already. You're fooling yourself and lying to everyone else around you if you haven't grabbed this by now. To say that you want it. So go and grab it.
Right, and it's like, what do you really have to lose, really?
Exactly.
And it's like, okay, if you fail at something, if it doesn't work out, at least you said you can say you gave it a shot.
Failing only means you tried.
Yeah, I mean, it's experience. Experience is experience. You can take that with you in whichever way. It's all about what you do with it.
For real.
And if get off stage and have a crappy show and just think your guitar went out of tune, or you busted a string and you had the quick change went out halfway through the song, and then the band had to play without you, and you're just beating yourself up the whole time, or all of a sudden you're like, wow, I did not hit that note I was supposed to at all, and I know I just sounded like I was dumb or something.
Yeah.
And you can get off stage and just beat yourself up about it, or you can take what you did and be like, all right, how can I make sure I don't do that again, so I come back and really show what I can do. So it's not about what happens to you, it's about what you do with what happens to you.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And then it's just, if you are putting on a good enough show and you love what you're doing in front of people enough, if you fuck up, they won't even know.
Yeah, and there's plenty of vocalists and people out there that it's like, okay, they might not, their voices don't really sound like the greatest, but my goodness, are they moving around on stage? Are they just living their life and just having a blast, that this is an entertaining thing to see?
Yes.
And I'm all right with this.
Yep.
And I've had it where I've just loved people's music, and then when I go and see them live, I'm like, that was a crazy boring show.
Yes, I hate that, man. It totally sours the whole experience and my opinion of the band, because I'm a showman myself, And if I'm not impressed, then I don't feel like I was robbed of something. Like you owe me some money, man.
Right.
Like
right.
it's something that is a really big pet peeve of mine. These people could pay one time half the amount or a quarter of the amount or a small fraction of the amount they pay for your ticket. They could pay for that one time and listen to it perfect at their house anytime they want. They made the effort to travel out here to your show, so you better give them a show, asshole.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, we got a guy we know out here who's also in a band, and he's actually featured on our Angry Words song on our EP, NTS Beryllium, Angry Words. And that's Mitch. He was in the band Drifter out of Grand Rapids here. He's now in a band called Dead Flowers. Little kind of promo for him there. And he is just one of the most entertaining guys to watch on stage. He's got an amazing voice, and that was one of the things that was like so they got big. I mean, they got popular in the West Michigan area so quick, it seemed like. And then when you saw them live, you understood why, because that band was so tight. Mitch was such a showman. He was moving on stage, and he just looked like he owned that stage. And you're like, man, that's what every vocalist should strive to be like right there. And he's still going out there writing music and killing it. And it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that motivates you. That's like, how can I do that? Even I think like that is because I'll get the honest criticisms from even my bandmates, like, hey, you should try and move around a little bit or be a little bit more animated and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I'm already getting off stage feeling like my shirt's soaking wet and I'm all sweaty from moving around. It's like, I guess I can try it a little harder. Yeah. But it's like when you still see that, it's like, I don't feel like I'm that good yet. What do I need to do to be that good now? Yeah. So.
But at the same time, you need to take in the account that you're probably going to be your own worst critic as a vocalist.
Absolutely. I hate myself.
Yeah, me too. I hate the sound of my voice. And to be honest with you, man, I have never really wanted to be a screamer. I've never wanted to scream. But ever since the first one come out of my mouth, that was locked in. That's what I had to do. I would rather sing. There's a lot of people that don't know I've got a pretty good singing voice. Or people tell me that. I hate it, but people clap when I'm done singing, so I assume that it is good. So, like, I don't like screaming, really. Like, I like the music, but I would rather play drums or guitar. But the fact that I was the one that was doing all of it and could do it the way that it needed to be done for our music, it kind of got me stuck in that groove. There are a lot of other people that are perfectly capable of doing that, and I could just work with them on things. But for some reason, I just ended up playing the drums and doing all the vocals.
Mm. Now, are you drumming and singing at the same time? You pulling a Phil Collins while you're doing all this?
Yeah, when the metalcore band the one I got thrown to the wolves for, I just started drumming and metalcore drums, and now I've got to sing and scream all of it.
They set you up right up in front, or do they have the bass player and guitar still sitting in the front?
Well, see, in the beginning, I was in the back, and it was like a normal band. And then towards the end, it kind of become our thing that I was our front man and our drummer. So that we kind of like centered me or put me up towards the front of the stage, and people would just run around me.
Oh, shoot. That'd be sweet to see.
Yeah. But that's the one thing I hate, man, because I belong up front with a mic in my hand, because I'm one of those dudes that would be all over the place and jumping on people and dancing weird and taking clothes off and shit. Like, I'm that guy. Everywhere I go in real life, I'm that guy. So if you give me a microphone on a stage that's elevated above everyone else and I'm louder than everyone else, I'm going to be that guy times 10.
There you go.
So, how do you think the vocal game's changed since you started to how it is now?
I don't know that it necessarily has changed. I think the music scene itself has changed quite a bit. I mean, there's definitely, like, if you're looking at our style of music, metal is like one of the largest subgenres musics ever. You find, I don't know if you've seen those crazy posted pictures of like, these are all the different kinds of metals, and you can just barely read any of the font because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what's crazy about even metals, that you can do whatever the crap you want with it. I've grown up listening to so many different styles, vocal wise. I mean, there's things that, you know, you see come and go, but I don't even wouldn't say that they come and go, but you see less or more of things as time goes by. I do feel like in the metal scene, we are starting to see an uptick in like clean singing. That just happens to be a little bit more of what I guess is appealing to people. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, one of my favorite bands is Periphery, and they do quite a bit of clean singing, and it's great. I think their vocalist Spencer is phenomenal, and they know how to bring the groove. They know how to bring the beef as well, and they know how to bring the pretty clean stuff as well. So it's all about what you want to go for, because then you can get bands like. Even like, what can I think of? Like Fit for a King. If you've ever listened to them too, they have their vocalist is amazing. And their clean vocalist, he's got some grit to his voice. He's not like the cleanest singer. And there's always a lot of aggression in his chorus lines and stuff. And it's all about what you want to do. And then you get other bands like Bless the Fall, who really focus on the more pop style vocals, and who else, like I See Stars and stuff like that. And that's not really my type of music myself. I mean, they've gotten as far as they have for a reason, and it's awesome for them. But and it's all about what you like. I don't like listening to somebody who says, "Oh man, I think like I don't like that." Just, hey, you're not gonna like something just because you don't like something. That's your thing. You can't hold it against somebody else for liking.
Yeah, that's why you just got to break it down and say, you know, like, you still have to appreciate what they're doing. You know, like, I'm not saying you have to, but you should. You should appreciate the effort and the craft that, you know, that they're doing. You know, maybe say it's not my thing, but they're good at what they do. You have to recognize where something is good.
Right, and I can honestly say I've developed that mindset that I just said over time, because honestly I can say when I was in my first band, there were certain bands where I was just like, oh, that is garbage, how are they getting so big and stuff like that, and eventually just like, hey, people are saying them and not us for a good reason, so you know what, they're doing something right. And
I think a little bit of that might be envy too. You know, you're
absolutely,
you're doing something and you see that and you're like, man, I don't know, I don't like that, and that's not us. You know, like that's it boils down to a lot of that. But at the same time, man, like it's all completely, you know, opinion. Like you just, maybe you haven't hit your market. It's out there somewhere, but maybe you just didn't reach it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some weird shit that's popular. There's no way that, you know, stuff that's even halfway good couldn't be popular somewhere.
Right.
We're going to find those weird fuckers to show all this music to, so we can find everybody's niche. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, you can find some of the weirdest stuff out there. I remember finding a grindcore band back in like 2010 that was called We Butter the Bread with Butter.
Yes.
Was there.
Yes.
I was like, and I love them just because of their name.
Yep, we almost played a show with them one time.
To Tony Danza.
Yeah, we almost played a show with them one time, but it got canceled. It got canceled the weekend before we were supposed to play. But yeah, that I absolutely know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and then also like we played a show here in Holland with another band that was called Arsonists Get All the Girls.
Yes.
And that was a crazy show because like I didn't look up anything on them or anything like that, and all of a sudden they got on stage after us, and I was like, holy cow, these guys are awesome.
Yep. Yeah, I've played with some crazy bands and come across some crazy people, been turning on some weird stuff, man, and it's just, that's what I'm all about, is those experiences. Because if I hadn't have met those people, talked to this person, said this or done that, I wouldn't be the person I am right now with the knowledge and downloaded data I've got.
Right. Right. And just, it's nuts. I mean, I love all the crazy stuff. Like I used to absolutely love, I wrestled a bear once.
Yes.
When they first came out. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so unlike anything. Yeah. And actually, I feel like I'm just promoting all these other bands that I either grew up with or I've played with and stuff like that. But you know what? Hey, it's good music. If you want to check it out, go check it out, because you won't be. It might be a thing for you. But like, there's a new band that just completely blew my mind, and it was like they came out of the 2008 underground metal scene and they stayed there. But they're in their upper teens, low 20s right now, and doing this 2008 stuff, and they're called See You Space Cowboy.
Yep.
And it's a total Cowboy Bebop takeaway, and I love that. Was a complete standout to me, and I heard their music, and then it's like every song is so fast, in like under 2 minutes long.
Yep.
And I was just like, it's so sporadic. I was like, this is what I was going to see locally all the time when I was like just out of high school and stuff, and it was so refreshing. I was like, this is amazing. I was like, to think that style of music being so well produced and put out, like we never had recordings like that for that style of music back in the day. And to hear it the way it is now, I was like, that is awesome, and I'm happy they're around.
Yeah, I've actually been in contact with them here recently, so that's I saw the name and I was like, oh, sweet. And then I checked them out and I was like, oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And so
their quick little music video is amazing that they had out. I was like, I love this.
Yeah. So that's a good thing that we're both we're checking all out the similar things and got our eye on the same kind of people. I've known exactly, like everyone you've talked about, I know who it is. So that means we're both doing something right.
Right. And something that's really cool, and I feel very fortunate being in the area that we are. I mean, with Hollow Front and everything, and Sleepwaker, and also Amora, we're all out of Grand Rapids, West Michigan, Holland area, and it's all of us have the exact same producer. All those bands and us that I just named off, we all go to league. Yeah. But it's like we're not like. We're able to have a community, and everybody kind of will help each other out there, and then we're always kind of looking out for each other, and that's what's really cool is that like the drummer from Sleepwaker, Frankie, he helped us do a lot of our design work for our band, and we had Mitch, who was in Drifter, who was also did a lot of work with Lee as well, and helping us on our song. And then another guitarist from Sleepwaker as well, Eric, who does a lot of photo work, and Frankie also does a lot of photo work. It's like it's cool to see that we're all willing to help each other out, and it's just nice to have that brotherhood in this area. And we're all very similar styles too, and it's just kind of cool to see that, okay, this is what West Michigan can be known for, is that these bands and this style. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, some people will be like, oh, you guys sound the same, and I'm like, so people are coming to see us, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I think that's what it's supposed to be about. Like that, I don't understand. That's something that I really, really never understand, is why people don't help support somebody that's, you guys are in the trenches together. Why aren't you helping each other? And that's why I wanted to start what we've got going on. And it just completely baffles me that you have to, bribe or strong arm or force people into doing something they say they want to do so bad. And like, if you want it and they want it, why not help each other? Because if you help them, they're going to help you. You're going to help somebody. Like, pay it forward, man. Like, you heard me talking to the conversation we had when you guys joined and stuff. Like, how I believe it should work. Like, I don't understand why that's not a thing everywhere. And you guys are really fortunate to have a community there that is like that.
There's some people, I think, that just have that super competitive mindset. It's just like, this is us, this is what we're going to do, and we're going to show that we're better than you. I mean, like, okay, there's some bands that have that mentality, and you know what? Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah,
I can see where we see it, but not everybody has that same mindset. So I'm happy that we're in an area where that's not always necessarily the case.
Yeah. See, friendly competition is good. Competition is great. It drives, progress and new things and like innovative things. But you can't have it to the point to where it's, going to be destructive to the community that you're trying to contribute to.
Right. And like I said, there's that, like when I was talking about Mitch being a great showman, it's like, okay, he's doing that, or this band is doing that. What can we do to where we might be able? How can we up our game now?
Yeah.
Oh wait, they just did this now. Let's up our game to that. Let's try and do something better than that. Or they're doing. It's just it's cool to try and like one up each other, but not necessarily be like, oh, we're going to be better than them.
Yeah, you don't want to be like.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to be like.
You're right. I was like, oh, I see you. I see what you're doing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You sneaky SOB, you guys got a new song and didn't even tell us. Well, we're going to have to write a better one.
Right. And that was something that kind of motivated us more to do a music video. This is our Tormentor being our first music video ever. It's like,
and it was awesome.
We were seeing, I mean, like Lee does music videos and stuff. He helped out a lot of those guys with their stuff. It's like, wait, we're working with Lee.
Yeah.
They're doing music videos. How come we don't have a music video? We need to get a freaking music video.
Yep. And Lee does great work, man. Like I'm a pretty big fan of the things that he kicks out, and all of you guys have a very nice, like, I don't even know how to describe it, but I'm just going to say ambient beef.
Yes. Yeah, and he does. I do feel that Lee is like a little gift of God to the West Michigan area, because even for me, when I'm in the studio with him, he'll won't say necessarily take charge and change any of our songs, but he helps us better ourselves even from what we did with our demos. We always have a pretty good outline for exactly what we want to go in there recording, and be like, well, maybe you guys should try doing it this. Or when I'm in the booth, he'll be like, why don't you try doing your vocal line more like this, or this, or how about you try and hit this note instead of that note?
Yeah.
And it comes out way better than what we could ever expect, and that's what you need in a producer.
Yes.
You don't want someone who's just going to be like, all right, go record, and then that's what you get. You want someone who's there. He's putting his name on your product, and he's like, we're going to make this, so I'm proud to have my name on this
exactly
product.
And that's what you should do. And everybody needs to not only take pride in their own work, but also live up to the name that's going to be stamped on it, and the people that are putting in their blood, sweat, and tears to produce your work.
Right.
And it's just a big thing, man. And it's just totally, I think that it's become more of just an exchange of paper kind of relationship, when it needs to be more involved the way that Lee is doing it, because you're going to get the full potential of your music. And you can tell that. You can tell you're comfortable with him. You can tell in your music video for Tormentor. That's why I say it's such a good music video, because you can tell that it was your first music video, but it looks like it was your 10th. Like
I felt awkward as hell filming that thing. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, it turned out really good, man. You guys, like I've told Brett before, you guys look comfortable, and it looks good. It sounds good. I mean, that's something to be proud of, and that's why I'm proud to have my name on it when we show people now.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad people liked it. We had really good reception for people when we first put it out. So that was really encouraging for us and stuff to see. So, just happy people like what they hear. But even still, when we put out a song, it's like, all right, how can we make a better song now?
Yeah, that's great though. That's what keeps you guys going and keeps you guys, churning out original style stuff. You can take influences from your stuff, but it doesn't sound exactly like somebody else.
Right. And I mean, even you probably know this too. I mean, when you've played a song for like the 10,000th time, you start really like noticing like this is really like what's boring. Why am I bored with this song?
Yep.
What's the aspect of this is what?
Yep.
Why do I not like this? All right, let's try and not do that again, or something like that. But I mean, hey, just because we don't like, honestly, for all of us, we have like 1 or 2 songs that we've recorded that we play, and we're like, we hate this song.
Yep.
And then, but they are the most positively received songs from people who hear them. And I'm like, I'm kind of mad you like this song so much.
I know exactly what you're talking about, man. There was a band I was in a long time ago. We were actually a hardcore band, like hardcore, like post-punk metalcore-ish. Like, we played stuff that was a lot like Atreyu.
Okay.
And so...
And man, X's and O's was my jam back in the day.
we were more like Suicide Notes and Butterfly Kisses.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, so we were like early shit, and we were more like that, and but we had one song that was a complete like pop punk ballad style song, and everybody loved that song, and we become known as like a gay pop punk band because that was the song that everybody loved. And we had all of these other songs that were just total like in-your-face, hardcore, brutal songs, and then one song that was like that. And that's the one that everybody wanted us to play every time, all the time. Still to this day, people will say something to me about that song, and we're talking like, this was 2006, maybe, 2005. So I just want to slap the shit out of them. Like
Hey man, give the people what they want.
Yeah, see that the musician in me says shut up, but the performer in me says I'll give it to you.
Right. And that's a conversation that we've had as a group where it's just like, man, if we really wanted to get big, why don't we just start playing radio rock or pop stuff? And it's like, that's the easy way to do things.
Yep, that's exactly what I said.
I like playing the angry stuff. I like playing the stuff that's like, it gets me amped up. And it's like, I don't want to be playing 4 chords and singing a chorus and stuff like that. And maybe have a random scream in there every so often. Be like, oh yeah, we're hardcore.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, you got to do to a point. It's like, yeah, you got to have some crowd service, but at the same time, you got to stick to what you love.
Yeah. See, I do so much of everything. A lot of people don't know that I play folk music. I sing in a folk band. Beautiful harmonies all the time. Just like the whole song for like 3 hours, you're gonna hear just beautiful harmonies, foot stomping, clapping music. And you're gonna wish that we had a banjo, but we don't. We're working on it. But I also do R&B. I also do rap and hip hop and stuff. I've got some stuff kind of like if you were to take Maylene the Sons of Disaster and Alexis on Fire and put them together.
Oh yeah.
And I've got stuff like that. It's called Dad Gut. And if you'd like, I'll send it to you after we're done here. Some rough clip of it. Man. And give you an idea of some different, like, I do so many different things just because I refuse to give myself that genre barrier. Like, I love and am capable of making so many things, and I feel like if I have the ability to create this stuff, I have the responsibility to create this stuff.
Yeah, and that's something we've thought of, too, where we've been like, why don't we write this kind of song, or how about we try this kind of song, or something like that. And then also you have the idea of like, well, shouldn't we try and like maybe stick to one market or something like that? And at the same time, it's like, why do we need to? It's like, for us personally, it's like we're not trying to go on long tours or anything like that. We've talked to, like, we would love to do something like in the relative close state area, from anywhere from Wisconsin all the way across to Ohio. We would love to do like a long
Southern
weekend
Illinois
thing, right? We would love to do like a long weekend kind of thing, but we have no intention of like going out months on end and stuff like that. It's just not what we're about. I mean, we all are married and stuff like that. We got full-time jobs. I honestly don't feel like blowing all my vacation on long tours.
I know how that goes, man.
But yeah, we even challenge ourselves still to like try and do other music. We've got one song that's not put out yet that we're working on trying to go into the studio with, and it's so different that we've recorded it, demoed it, just demoed it, and made it studio ready, and then we've completely thrown it away. We came back to it, tried to do it a different way, and then in the end ended up being right back where we started, and we're like, okay, this is what it is.
That's what it's supposed to be.
I guess that's what it's supposed to be, but at the same time, it's still so different. Like, we're working on a song that is just completely, well, it's not completely, majority all clean singing.
Yeah.
And just,
which I'm pumped for.
With only a few, like, here and there little screams and stuff, but that's very much different. If you listen to all of our other stuff, that's a lot different than what we're used to, and it's a lot different for me because I'm used to it's a lot easier for me to scream on stage than it is to watch out and make sure I'm getting all my notes right. Because
especially when you've been screaming.
Oh my gosh. There's a reason we shove a lot of our songs with the singing towards the front, so my voice isn't blown out when I'm trying to hit those notes.
Yep. Yeah, so I completely understand.
We've even had the debate on whether or not, like, should we even just mix all the clean singing together just so we don't have to worry about that?
No.
Well, even I've been like, I don't care. Yeah, if I can just focus on this is a low scream, this is a mid scream, this is a high scream. I was like, that'd make my life easier.
Push yourself. Do it for the people.
Sometimes it hurts the next morning.
I know what you're talking about. I definitely do. Think about how I did it. My diaphragm was pinched. I was sitting down.
Oh man, I mean, there was one time in my first band, Beyond the Gates, I did a show with strep throat and a double ear infection, and I did the entire show, and it was a great show. I felt good while I was doing it, and then I felt like garbage, but like my voice felt good. I thought I sounded good, but as soon as I got done, it destroyed me.
Yep.
And I was put out of commission for maybe about 3 months after that because of what I forced my body to go through and how I had to recover from it. So
the song I did with Silura, the Withholder, I had a sinus infection and was coming up on some strep throat at that time, and that I got such a warm reception for that song. That was the first metal song I'd done in like probably 6 years to 8 years ish.
Yeah.
And I got such a warm reception on that song, and I was like, guys, I was half dead when I did that. And then I've got a couple new tracks that are about to drop anytime soon. And let's just say I got it all back, and I was healthy. And I feel real good about them.
I personally think that even after that incident did happen, I definitely did change my voice after that because of how drastic the effects were. I basically, for the next 6 months after I felt like I'd gotten better, I couldn't do highs at all. I couldn't do high screams at all.
Yep. All mids and lows?
All mids and lows, because that's all where it didn't feel like it was straining me at all. And I know how to scream. I know how to do it right, and I know how to do it wrong. I've been through the trial and error with it when I was just trying to figure out how to scream when I was like 17 years old.
Yeah.
But just the attempt to try and do my highs then were really hard. And honestly, I didn't even fully get back to where I thought I was actually doing them well enough to do them until not too long after we started Silence and Solace again, because it was really pushing me to have to do it again.
Yeah.
So I still, as time's gone by, if you were to listen to that little crummy basement EP that I did with my first band and back in 2009 all the way up to where I'm at now, it's like you're not listening to the same person.
Yeah. And see, I was one of those people, like, back in the day, like, we live in a small area. We don't have things. We never focused on, like, studio shit or anything like that. We were a live performing band. And so most of our recordings were pretty much live. And, I don't really have too many things to be completely proud of as far as, like, quality-wise for today's standards. but I have a lot of things that any kind of artist or musician, if they were to listen to them, they would understand the potential that's there. And like now stepping up into the stuff that we're doing now, and I'm featuring on now in SRI and the collabs and everything, like all of this stuff is the best stuff I've ever been involved in. And it's just, it's stepped me up to a whole new level and just completely brought me back to life as far as a vocalist and being involved in making music like this. Because I had pretty much just given up. I've got 3 kids. I'm divorced. I have a new girlfriend. I've got 2 jobs. I have SRI. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 8 projects that I'm in musically. Like I'm constantly, you know, volunteering and helping places and doing things and helping people do this and that. And like, I am a busy guy. Like
you're a busy boy.
Yeah, 20 hours out of the day at least, man. I am doing things. I take a nap. I pop right back up refreshed, and I hit it again because I don't have the luxury of just kicking my feet up, man. I've got things to do, and I've got people that depend on me. And I like being in that position because it keeps me from being lazy. I have no choice.
Yeah. You do it to yourself, though. These are all the choices that you've made.
Yeah, but my story is going to be way more interesting than somebody that chose to eat Cheetos and sit on the couch and watch Netflix.
Right. and that's fine. That's great. That's great for you, man.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with sitting on the couch eating Cheetos, watching Netflix. If that's what you want to do.
Right, and if I wasn't talking to you right now, I'd probably be streaming on Twitch playing video games right now.
See, I've never been a gamer. When instead of playing video games, I was playing sports or out in the woods half naked chasing some wild animal.
Yeah, one of the worst things my family could have done was buy me a PlayStation 1, because that was when all of a sudden I just plumped up and I just stayed in the basement.
I got a PlayStation 2 when I was in high school. Best damn DVD player I've ever had.
That was basically all my PS4 turned into, was this glorified Blu-ray player. But now that I got a sweet PC, I'm just like, I'm back on gaming.
I say all of this stuff bad about video games, but my son, he's 11, and he loves video games. He loves technology. He loves all of that stuff. So he has everything from Atari, like an original Atari, not the flashback shit. Original Atari, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, N64. He's got 2 N64s. He's got everything. The only thing he doesn't have is like a Sega Genesis and a Dreamcast.
Oh man, Genesis was my jam.
Yeah, and I told him, I said, buddy, I even had a Genesis and played it for a little while. Like we gotta find you something, you know. Like, yeah. But he's got an iPad. He's on that thing like 12 hours out of the day. But if he's going to be on it, I told him that I get to pick, you know, half the time he's on it, I get to pick what he's watching. So he learns a lot of things, and he's become very interested in outer space, marine biology, and the paranormal.
There you go. Hey, that's good. That's good lyric material there.
Yeah. No, he's not very musical. My daughter.
I'm just saying it's a good gateway though.
Oh yeah.
Like that. It gets the inspiration going. I mean, we wouldn't have bands like Rings of Saturn or The Contortionists if it wasn't for sci-fi kind of things.
Yeah. My daughters are the ones to be on the lookout for. They're 2 and 3, and they're going to be doing something. They're probably going to be in the studio with Daddy here in a year or 2.
There you go. Just got to keep watering the seed as it grows.
My daughter Ella can already tone match. She can. I can look at her and go, Ella, and she'll go, and she'll find it, and you'll see her eyes light up that she knows that she's with me, and she'll be like, you know, and I'm like, all right, now let's dance and let's do it. Let's change some things. And she'll do it with me, and she's just like,
That's gonna be just so crazy to see that develop.
Yep. I thought about taking like a video starting now with me working with her, because she's constantly playing the guitar and playing drums and singing and stuff. Yeah. And like she watches, of course, like Frozen and Trolls and stuff like that. Oh, and she sings right along with them. And she's 3, and she's singing with these people that have like studio production stuff and like auto-tune and things, and she's singing really well. So I'm just like, man, I'm gonna have so much fun with you. Like,
Right.
oh, I'm so excited.
Start capturing that stuff now, man.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think, man. What are the kids gonna be listening to when we're like in our 40s and stuff like that? It's kind of exciting, but at the same time, it's scary.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I always thought it was hilarious when I had the realization, and when I was just out of high school, it's like, man, I'm gonna be like 80 and I'll be listening to breakdowns and stuff like that.
Yep. I've said that same thing, man. I'm like, man, these kids aren't gonna know what to think when I'm like 80 years old driving my caddy down the main street and I'm listening to like Whitechapel and Tupac and shit like that, and people are just like, what is that? The old guy.
Yeah. Gather round, children. Let me show you the music of old times.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just blow them. That doesn't sound like a computer. Yeah, I am so like the same as you. It's scary as shit, but I'm excited for it. Like I'm gonna be that old dude with stretched ears and tattoos and a big ass beard, just rocking out. I'm gonna be doing this until I die. I'm gonna be sitting in this chair doing the whole conversation until I can't sit in this chair doing the whole conversation anymore.
Until that chair turns into a wheelchair.
Yep, I am going to be you will see somebody pushing me out to do an episode and play a show before I give up on my own and just turn
oxygen going up through your nose.
Yep. Yep.
Still puffing on a cigarette too.
Yeah, I'm going to Keith Richards it. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, I'm a lifer, man. I'm going to be here doing this. So I'm just going to get it rolling now, and I'm just going to keep doing it. I really don't give a shit what anybody else thinks about it. I enjoy doing this, and what we're doing is a great thing, regardless if it grows from where it's at right now or not.
Yeah. I mean, you're gaining traction. I mean, you're still getting people interested, still talking to people and all that kind of stuff. I mean, who was it? Yeah, haven't you been talking to like Archers as well, the band Archers or anything like that?
Yeah. Nathaniel was just on an episode a week ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because like I was actually thoroughly shocked when I heard that was going to be a thing. I was like, holy cow! Okay, we're doing something.
Yeah, I really like the guys from Archers, man. They're really good guys, and I've been talking with Nathaniel a lot, and you know, he's added me to some new groups and stuff like that, and like they're just genuine guys, man. Like, after I finished my episode with him, we shut the camera off, and me and him sat down and talked for like another half an hour before we were done. Like, it just I connected with him, and I enjoyed talking to him. They're good guys.
That's good, man. That's good. It's good to have that too, man. It's just more relationships building, and it's just going to help the community out that much more.
Yeah, see, that's all I'm wanting to do. Like, I think a lot of people get the wrong idea of what I'm intending to do with SRI, but I like to run maxed but relaxed, and I just want to make organic relationships and connections with people because it's only going to better everybody involved.
Right, and you know, I've tried explaining what all this is and stuff to people, and I've even had people kind of like, you know, it sounds a lot like a pyramid scheme kind of deal. And I was like, yeah, but it's not.
Yeah. I'm the only one losing money if anybody's losing money.
It's like, it seems like it's got to cost you at some point. I was like, yeah, but if it does, it's because we're willing to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm not strong-arming anybody into anything.
No,
like,
you're not. No one's coming to anybody saying, hey, this band wants to do this. Everybody fork over like $10, $20 or so we can hit this point or something like that.
No, I make sure that I can take care of that myself, man. And I put that burden on myself in the beginning for a reason. I don't want people to not be able to afford this opportunity. And that I think there's good and bad. Like, it's kind of a double-edged sword, man. Like, I really want everything to remain as open and communal and free as possible, which is completely against how I've been raised in my political views and things. But when it comes to art and things, I believe that that's how it should be. Nobody should own your art or make money off of what you did. Like, you know, that like contribution and things and compensation maybe, but there's no reason that nobody should have rights to their own music. Like, there's no reason that you should get like 20% of all the money made off of your music. And like, so I wanted to remove all of that stuff and be the one actually pushing people that wanted to be there. And, you know, that's what I want to do. And if I upset some people because I'm not putting the hammer down as hard as they'd like, they're more than welcome to do it themselves, but they're not. I'm the one that come up with the idea for this. You know, they could have done it, but they didn't. So, you know, I'm doing this. If you want to be a part of it, you're more than welcome to. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a zero obligation. I think that's, I mean, it's cool. It's cool to be chill about it and everything like that. And that was one of the things too. Even like we had to have the discussion when you had first approached us, and it was like get signed to a thing. It's like we never wanted to get signed to anything. It's like then he laid it out, and even I was extremely skeptical about it. And I was like,
everyone
what
is,
is
man.
this? What is this? And then I was like, well, I mean, if this is what he's saying it is, it's like, I don't see any harm in giving it a shot. And so it's like, if he's staying true to what he's saying is going on here, why not? We don't got anything to lose then.
Exactly. That's it seems too good to be true, but it absolutely is not. I've had so many people that have not responded or have inquired, and then when I try to explain, they don't hit me back, or they don't understand. But anybody who has taken the phone call message with me has joined, because
that's awesome.
They can see that I'm genuine. They can see that I really believe in what I'm doing, and that I'm not trying to put my hands in your pockets. I don't want anybody's hands in your pockets but yours, man.
Right. And that's a great thing too. And I as much as the community aspect of things is, it's like, okay, it's cool to have people that are all willing to help out and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like I feel like people should be compensated at some point, to a point, with like for their efforts, and that should be agreed with between the artists and
exactly
the supplier and the customer.
Exactly.
Kind of
See, I'm not setting like a flat rate for things. If people want to discuss that, it's an open market to do that. If you feel like you need to be compensated, then by all means get yours. But I'm not here for the money. I'm here for the connection and spreading things. I'm here to help. So if you want to do that, do that.
Right. And that's kind of like a thing, like if Lee was even like to be like, oh yeah, I'll record you guys for free or whatever like that, and he put out what he put out for us, I'd be like, I can't walk away from this studio not giving you something for what you did.
Exactly. And see, that's what I'm trying to do with this, is that I'm trying to restore the honor system, man. Like, instead of me telling you what I'm going to charge you, why don't you tell me what you think it's worth? Because that tells me that I'm doing something good or bad. Right,
absolutely. And that's one of the things I can walk away with our music and saying that our quality of music that we put out, and just the friendships and the experiences that we've had when it came to writing and producing the music that we have, it was worth every freaking penny. And I'll do it 100 times over the same way, if as long as it allows.
Yeah. And see, I'm not trying to discourage people from doing things like that. I'm not trying to rob anybody of their money or anything like that. I'm trying to provide a platform for people who feel comfortable here, to give them a start. You know, call it the minor leagues for the big leagues, if you will. If people want to come here and develop what they need to develop and learn some things and then move on so they're not wasting the professional's time, then yes, that's what we're here for. If you want to be a lifer here, then hell yeah, we can get you fixed up. We can work with you. You can grow with us. That's a good thing. But like, I'm not claiming to be the best of the best out there, or trying to rob anybody or poach any people from anybody. I want people to be able to do that if they can. But there are too many people out there that can't afford all of that, and that's where we come in. And that's where I feel most important.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, like, if you would have been around back in, like, around the 2009, 2010 area, I don't see why I wouldn't have still been in the band that I was in, because that was the biggest thing, is that we were kids. We were just out of high school, and even for a while, we even struggled with trying to stay afloat while, 4 out of the 5 of us were going to school and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden one of them was having a kid and stuff like that. And then it's like, all this stuff. So it's like if we had like a community where it's like, you guys want to do this, we will help you do this. Maybe it still would have been a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I completely know like that whole aspect of it where it's like, all right, we're young, we're trying to get this thing going. We don't have a lot of cash. It's like all of our money went into just getting the music equipment that we have, or it's gonna our money's gonna go into just getting us to a place to do this, and we actually won't have the money to do the thing. It's like, it's good to have those people around that will be like, yeah, man, I'll do this for you. You disappeared on me.
Sorry about that. My dog was on the table in the instrument room. I happened to.
Mine's passed out behind me.
I happened to look up, and she's staring right at me, standing on the middle of the table, and there's like $1,000 worth of crap she can break around her.
Yeah, my dude's kind of just like plopped right behind me.
Oh, I see that. Yeah. What kind of dog you got?
I have a corgi.
I've got a Basset Hound Cocker Spaniel mix.
There you go. My wife grew up with a Basset Hound, and that was her. Well, that was her favorite dog ever.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a little bit of a rascal over here. She's an escape artist. She's constantly in things. She's cute as all get out, and she loves me to death. She knows she's mine, but she is a pain in my butt.
I know that my little dude is a little attention whore.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what I say about her. She is an attention whore. I'm going to have to, now seeing the background of what you got going on there, man, I'm going to have to send you a shot of my house because there's a lot of very odd similarities to our lives and our houses now that are coming up to me. We're a little too alike, and because the layout you've got behind you, your wall color and your floor, even the grate for your vent, your outlet, everything is the same as if I took a picture from my bedroom to it. Looking out my bedroom, you'd see my son's room and the bathroom right there. The doors are the same color, knob, everything is the same.
Yeah, that room right there is my bedroom. This is just my office. So
yeah, well, see what would be my office if it was upstairs is my son's room. So yeah, it's the same thing, man. Like the walls are the same color, everything. That's a little creepy. We're gonna have to talk a little more.
You're not decked out in like Godzilla stuff though, are you? I don't know if you can see my little dude who's just sitting right here too.
Yeah.
And then I even got an old original. This is from the very original movie, Godzilla movie, but it's a color print poster on wood from France.
Wow.
My wife got that for me as a gift not too long ago. I've been a diehard Godzilla fan since I can remember.
Dude, that's awesome.
So I'm absolutely 100% looking forward to the next movie that's coming out.
Yeah. That is awesome, man. Like I never really got into things like that, like action figures and movies and things like that, but it's been like musical stuff and like I'm really big into my heritage and things like that. So I've got a lot of stuff like that around, but my son has a lot of things like that. And I know people that draw for a lot of like comic books and things. Right. So I've had them draw pictures of like the Hulk and Superman and things like that for him, and he's got a bunch of stuff like that around and like cool action figures and memorabilia.
Yeah, and I grew up all on anime and everything like that.
Yeah, see, I never got into that. I was just like right out of all that. Like all of my friends that are a little bit younger than me, totally into all that. And like I've watched like Naruto and all of that stuff. Like I've had to watch damn near the whole thing. And I could get into some of it, but then there's some of it where I'm just like, this is ridiculous and y'all need to find an adult thing to do.
Right. I mean, I still watch anime and stuff like that, or even to this day and stuff. So like I even like tomorrow at our show that we have going on, I was like, I plan on wearing a freaking Tokyo Ghoul t-shirt when I'm up there. So.
Yeah. See, I was a big Ninja Turtles kid, so I can't knock too hard.
Right. And I grew up with like Dragon Ball Z and Gundam Wing and stuff like that, and Cowboy Bebop and everything. So so that was my childhood. So
see, I had
it never let go. It never let go.
Naruto. Let's see, Naruto, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop, Initial D.
I don't remember that one.
It's about drifting and how drifting and stuff got started with like the delivery guys and RX-7s in the mountains and stuff.
Oh, okay. I've seen plenty of memes and stuff like that and about that series. I never actually watched it.
Yeah.
Though, so.
Well, the only reason that we got into that is because me and my buddies, there was a big group of us that everybody had RX-7s, and there's a bunch of windy roads here, like all over the place, and everybody got really big into racing and drifting and stuff here.
Okay.
So that's the only reason I knew about that one. But yeah, I never like searched them out myself, but there's some of them that caught my attention and I could like really get into and follow the storyline, but there's like so many of them, like it's just a preference thing. Some people like pepperoni, some people like sausage, some people like red, some people like blue, you know, like I was too busy, you know, making hardcore music and having sex. Like I didn't have time. I was working and doing stuff.
I feel like we've gone all over the place when it comes to topics. As we've gone from like, music, we went from music to just the house and dogs to video games to TV shows and stuff like that.
The whole conversation.
We're covering everything here today.
Yeah. I mean, and like this stuff like this, man, like this is what I like, is just talking to people. Like a lot of people assume, like I've said before on here, like a lot of people assume it's just a music show. It's not. It's about the people involved in that life, but what their life is like and the things they like.
And I guess I'm kind of curious too, since you've come from a small conservative community yourself. I mean, did you find it difficult, or did your family at all find it difficult for you to take on some of the interests that you did, especially when it came to like being into like heavier music or anything like that? Because that was something even I encountered, was like, oh, I'm going to be in a metal band, and then it's just like my mom just like, you are, kind of thing. And
yeah, kind of. There was it was about a 50-50 split. Like my family for the most part are really, really down to earth, like non-judgmental people. Like they're very supportive, and I come from a very musical family, so it wasn't much of a stretch. But there was a lot of them that just still to this day do not understand. Like they don't even know how to talk to me about it. Right. And like then like people like my dad, who didn't get it and was kind of pissed off about it at first, but he was in bands and stuff all throughout high school and through the early 90s and things like that. He opened for some big bands. He did the thing, you know. Okay. So he gets it. And then after a while, like after like 3 or 4 years of me doing it, he was like, I get it. He's like, he's like, that's good stuff. I can tell now. I can understand what you're saying when you're doing it that way. I can do, you know, like he actually gave it a chance. So people like that, as opposed to people who just dismiss it right off the bat and don't want to know, there's a difference. And so like my dad learned how to appreciate it. And he now, like he's always begging me for new CDs and things like that. Like he loves what I'm involved with, and he's extremely proud of me for doing what I'm doing now. That's
good. Yeah. I mean, like my family, it can be a little weird to talk about. Like when I was in my first band, and like they were a little like hesitant about it and everything, but they came and saw my very first show. Yeah. And they were just like, well, that was a thing. Yeah. and so they've seen 2 shows. They saw my first show, and then they saw my last show with that band. And then anything after that, band projects or so, I just never got anything, or not that, I mean, I never pushed for them to like come or anything like that. They just like, hey, you got anything on? Yeah, I got a show coming up soon, and that would be it basically. And then once they started hearing some of the other music that I would show them, like when I'm doing in Silence and Solace and stuff like that, it was like, oh, you're actually using your real voice, it sounds like, here and there. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little weird. It's just, they'll ask like how things are going. And it's like, I know you're listening to me, but it doesn't necessarily always feel like
you hear it.
Like, you're just like, it's like, okay, you're doing your thing. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
see, that's,
I don't hold anything against them for it. It's just, it's not for them. They didn't grow up with that kind of thing.
Exactly.
My dad used to be in a barbershop quartet.
Wow.
Like, he's not, and he wasn't about like all of this screaming and stuff. He is more about the normal singing and everything, which is fine. I mean, I appreciate absolutely everything he did when it came to showing me music and stuff. So he definitely had a big impact on why I love music so much. So
yeah,
I appreciate them for everything they did to get me to the point where I'm at right now.
Yeah, see, as far as my family, man, like Plum Tuckered Out was a very welcomed thing after all the years of me playing hardcore and metal and things. Once we started doing Plum Tuckered Out and the folk, it's like bluegrassy folk, bluesy stuff that sometimes, but like I'm doing nothing but singing. It's all old timey stuff. Like it's just all, a lot of vocal harmonies and things. And they just, that's the one that's really, really accepted, but they still don't come to the show or like, do like it's, my dad always told me a prophet's without honor in his own hometown. And so I've been trapped in this little village out in the middle of nowhere forever with nobody around here giving a shit about me. But if I go to like St. Louis with like my old band, we go to St. Louis, we used to play at Pops, and there'd be like 500 people there for us. There'd be a lot of people show up when we go other places. But around here, nobody's going to care about it. I have this going on, and I have all my projects and stuff going on, and nobody here still has a clue. My next door neighbor just found out about all of it. Like it's not a thing here. There's no, even if it was a thing, there's nowhere for me to do anything.
Right. And we kind of get that idea around here sometimes where it's like, okay, we got a show in town. I mean, we got a show in Grand Rapids tomorrow. And, it's like, okay, when you post out there, hey, we got tickets, who wants them? And then you get like no response, but it's like, But I mean, still, people are going to come to the show and stuff like that. We know that. But it can sometimes be a grind when it's like, okay, we've had friends come to the show. Plenty of times I've had lots of friends come to shows, and it's like they see it once and like, we saw it. All right. And that was actually something that we kind of fell victim to when I was in my first band, Beyond the Gates, where we played so often. And for a long time, it was a good run where it was like we were getting packed houses. We were playing for lots of people, and then all of a sudden it got to a point where it's like when we hit the point where we actually literally played a show for like 3 people, that was like crushing to a point to where we're like, we need to stop, because we were doing shows every weekend around the exact same general area for the same people. And it's like, and we weren't even necessarily coming out with new music that fast either. So it's like, okay, we've seen these guys so many times. Why do we need to see them again? Yeah. And so we definitely took like a long break, and we definitely tried focusing on playing out in areas where we weren't used to, and a little bit farther out than home. And we got to learn the pains of that. So, and then it was crazy because we definitely felt like we completely like changed as artists at that point, where when we finally did write the songs that we ended up going to Nick Scott to record for us. And then we started doing a couple more shows again, because it was like we took a long hiatus after that. Not necessarily like a hiatus as a band, but from like doing shows. Yeah. We just weren't very active anymore. And then all of a sudden we come out and we start doing shows again. But we actually recorded that last EP as a going away present for everybody. Yeah. We actually recorded that intending on quitting. and we played maybe 3 or 4 shows after we released it. And then everybody's like, why are you leaving? Why is this? And everything like that. It's like, and then all of a sudden we're like, you all stop coming to see us.
Yeah.
That's why we're stopping.
Yeah.
And then at that point it was like, well, my 3 of the guys were all going to college and wanted to really be able to focus on it. And so it was like, it was already kind of set in stone. So
yeah,
we all went our own separate ways, and we're all in contact every once in a while and stuff like that. But life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. We moved on, and it is what it is. I still love the guys. I love to see them when I can, if I can.
Yeah.
But we got lives. And
yeah.
I felt a little out of place, because when I left, or when we finally called it off and we were done, I was just like, now what? Because they're all the ones that were busy, and I'm the one now just sitting around doing nothing.
Yep.
And it took me a long time to find something else. I had even, I'd done the whole Craigslist looking for people. I tried meeting up with just random people who were just trying to get something started. I met with people who had sounded promising, or I auditioned for bands and then just maybe never got a call back or anything like that. So I put myself through a pretty vulnerable, but at the same time, like I felt like I was going to just give up everything altogether to a point. And I actually had a guy reach out to me and say, hey man, I'd like to maybe start writing some songs and stuff like that. Maybe I was wondering if you could come out and see what we could do. And I kind of brushed him off at first. I was just like, man, I was in that point where I was like, I don't think I'm interested and stuff like that. And maybe a few weeks later, maybe a month later or so, it just came back, and I was like, I'm going to message that guy just to see what's going on. And came out to be one of my best friends. His name is Kevin, and he's working on a band as well right now. And him and I we were music writing machines in the studio when we got together. Once I met him and I heard the bands he was into, he heard the bands I was into, it just took off. And we were just a little studio project for the longest time. And that's how I actually met Brett, was because he was friends with Brett. He'd actually filled in and had played guitar a couple times with Brett on some things. And so even that's when I learned about Brett's band that he was in. At the time, he was in a band called Long Live with David, our drummer. And
I actually heard of that band before.
I did guest vocal spot on their album. So I got to meet all of them. Their vocalist, Nick, he's a great guy. He's a crazy showman. He's one of the guys who's just nuts on stage and is just fun to watch. Like I could watch a Long Live's set and just watch him the whole time with a smile on my face, just because he's the goofiest, funniest guy up on stage. It's like, I don't know why you're in a metal band, because you're just the goofiest dude I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But he's entertaining. They had shows that were just, people showed up because they were just so crazy active on stage. And it was just funny to see, because I didn't really know any of these guys, but they all knew who I was from my old band. And to hear that Nick, their vocalist, just like was such a big fan of mine, that's when they asked me to do a guest spot. And I was like, I grew a relationship and everything with all those guys. And when they finally came to the time where they were all going to go their separate ways, that was when Brett contacted me before even their last show, and said, hey man, we're thinking about, or we're going to be breaking up here soon. I was wondering if you just wanted to maybe get together and maybe start working on something. And he's like, I don't feel like my gas tank is out yet, and I want to get going on something. I keep going on some things, and maybe you get doing some things that I really have been wanting to do for a while. And I felt like that was really my shot, because I knew Brett's style. I knew what he could do. I liked what he was doing. So I was like, yeah, absolutely. And I knew David, the drummer, as well at the time, not as well as I do now. But I was like, yeah, he's a great drummer. So I was like, why? I don't see how we could lose here. And so we all started getting together, and probably, yeah, within like the first few weeks, we already were starting to write Hookshot. And we had Josh in the mix too. I knew Josh through my wife, because she worked with his dad and some company get-togethers that we had. I met Josh and learned he was a musician and everything, and him and I got talking. I was like, oh, he plays bass. We need a bass player. Josh, you want to play bass? Absolutely. We got Josh. So yeah, and we were actually like playing in Josh's basement for the longest time, because his dad was in a band. He played bass and did vocals in a band, so he had a full setup and everything down there, and it was just an ideal and good situation for us, because we were going to start doing it in my basement, and it was like not too much bigger than this room, and I didn't think I was going to work out so well. No, my wife wouldn't have appreciated all the noise. Yeah. So it was a good situation, being a household that was used to there being so much noise.
Yeah.
And we just, as soon as everything happened there was no looking back at all for us at that point. When it came to writing music, we just hit the ground running, and before we knew it, we had like six songs that we were just ready to go into the studio with.
Man, you guys, I'm such a huge fan. That's a thing that I enjoy also about SRI, is I am a huge personal fan of the people that I take on, because either I've already been following you for a while and I'm a fan, or you've inquired, and now since you've inquired and you have showed interest in what I'm doing, I am now going to throw all my attention in your direction. And so I really take in everything that everybody's doing. I think that there's a lot of people sometimes that have the mentality that I might not be paying attention, but I know what's going on everywhere. I spend all my time checking out the band pages and your personal pages and all of the releases and things we got going on, the SRI stuff, and like I check everything out because I want to be involved. And I give a shit. So anybody out there who thinks it's too good to be true, I give a shit.
Yeah, and a lot of it can be like, it can be a little bit hard to just maintain things. I know we're not the most active social media band ever, and it's like, I'm just not. I do a little bit of stuff on Facebook and everything like that. I don't do too much.
We're going to get you out there.
I'm even terrible at managing my own photography business page, where it's like I constantly keep getting the notification, hey, your followers haven't heard from you in a while. Maybe you should post something. And I'm just like, I don't feel like it. I'm a lot more active on my Instagram and stuff like that. And that's something that I have a lot of fun with, is like doing the quick little stories of our practice and stuff like that on our Instagram. I'm always the guy behind the camera when it comes to our Instagram. I just have a riot with it. Yeah. So, but even then, it's like, I don't post that much on our Instagram. It's just not something I'm that keen on. And Brett manages the Facebook page mostly. I mean, we're all managers on the page, but he does a lot of the posting when it comes to our Facebook outreach. But even us for that, I mean, it can be hard. I know you get out of it what you put into it, and that clearly showed when we first came out with Tormentor, and we paid for an ad to go out, so we wanted people to see it.
Yeah.
And so that was really cool. I hope none of the none of the followers feel like we're neglecting them or anything like that. But it's like, it's not really like a numbers thing for us, really. We just want to be putting out good stuff for people to hear. We want people to hear it. So we might pay for an ad here or there. If we're doing a really good show or a really big show we're excited about, like put it a little bit more out there. If we're just playing like a couple bars here and there, or like little tiny shows with all local bands or something like that. Not even like local bands, but just something. And it's just like, we know it's something that was quick thrown together. We might only put it out there a couple times or something like that. It's not like we're not interested or we're not excited about what we're doing. It's just we don't think about it as much, and we're just not that big social media presence that a lot of the other bands can be. And that's more power to them. They're getting noticed for it. Yeah, we're doing this we're doing this because we're fun and we have the ability to right now. So we're doing what we can. We're just riding the ride, man.
See, that's where I'm at, is like I feel a lot like you guys. Like I've got a lot going on, but at the same time, like I'm having, because of SRI, like I'm having to like update all of my routines because of the social media things and because of this and because of that. I'm like, I absolutely hate all of the stuff that comes with all of that, because I hate technology. I hate all the social media bullshit. I'm a face-to-face, footwork kind of guy, word-of-mouth kind of guy. And so, like, I'm having to make myself learn all of these things that I do not want to do, but it's all for the greater good of what I'm trying to do. It just sucks that we're in the time, like, once again, it's another double-edged sword. Like, the internet floods the market, but at the same time, it's the best way to get your shit out there now.
Right.
Because people are just clicking buttons and looking at stuff. If you try to have a conversation with somebody in real life, like just walk up to a stranger and talk to them, they're probably going to mace you, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, we've been talking for a while, and right now, but it's like you got to kind of see where social media is kind of taking it right now. We're living life 15 seconds at a time right now when you look at stories and stuff like that. So it's like how quick is everyone's attention span and stuff like that. It's like I think about, all right, we're doing like a 2-hour podcast episode or something like that. How much are they going to skip through this or something like that? Or is anybody like, I'm not worried about it or anything like that. I'm happy we're having to talk. But it's like we got to take that into account. I mean, if you're doing like a quick little teaser for a music video or something like that, only do like 15 seconds or something. If they're interested enough, they think it sounds good enough, they'll listen to the whole thing. Yeah, so
you can do the teasers, and then anywhere from 15 seconds up to 90 seconds is your target teasers and advertisements. That's where you're going to get the people pulled in.
Yeah, and things like this. Y'all got short attention spans.
Yeah. And like with the things we're doing right here, this is for the people that actually give a shit. I'm doing this for the people that are like me and are going to be looking for this. So we're going to do the things for the people that have the short attention spans to pull them in, because hopefully we're doing things that are good enough and the content is relevant enough that they're going to come back and they're going to become people that watch the 2-hour things.
Right.
But since it has been this long, are you feeling pretty good about what we got going on? I think all my youngins are back home again.
Yeah, I do.
All right, man. Well, do you have anything you want to plug before we take off?
Oh, all right. If anybody's in the West Michigan area, I mean, I don't know. When's this going to air? Probably.
Oh, it's going to be, I think you're probably like 3 or 4 episodes back. So it's going to be like another month.
I'm not going to even bother to plug the show that I have going tomorrow, which is on, the 27th of April. So I won't even bother plugging that one because it's already going to be come and gone. But we're working on new stuff. We have an outline for what we plan on doing. Things can change. I think we're going to try and work on a cover here sometime soon for us as a band. And then we got some originals in the chamber right now that we're finalizing some demos for, that we're going to be gearing up, that I think we're going to want to do both recording and a music video for. So, I mean, just keep a lookout. I mean, I'm sorry we're not that active on social media, but don't forget about us. we put out stuff every so often, and we're hoping that it's good quality stuff that people like.
Well,
yeah, Silence and Solace. I'd say follow us on
was YouTube,
follow
Facebook?
us on Instagram and Facebook. Like I say, if you want to catch some silly, funny stories, and we're on Instagram a lot more.
Yeah. So. The Tormentor music videos on YouTube, right?
Yes. Tormentor music video. We're pretty happy with that. I definitely had longer hair when I was in that music video.
Yeah, great music video on their YouTube page. So make sure to go like their Facebook and subscribe to their YouTube channel, because there's going to be some good stuff coming out. Like he said, their Instagram always popping with some silly little short clips. If you guys, one thing that if I could make a suggestion, I'd say you guys need a featured vocalist on one of your tracks. I might know a guy who could do some stuff. I'm just saying.
Duly noted. We'll see what we might be able to work out.
But yeah, man, I'm really glad that you took the time to sit down. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you, and I can't wait to have you back and look forward to having you involved in more stuff that's going on with SRI. Like I said, it's always an open invitation. Anything you've got on your mind, anything that you want to be involved with, or anything like that at all, contact me, man. Like, get a hold of me. Let's talk about it. Like, I talk to everybody all day, every day. Like I said earlier, I can do pretty much whatever I want all day, every day. Put my headphones on. I'll have my phone at work. I can still get my job done. I can still talk to everybody and delegate things and hash things out. Like, this is what I want to do. This is not what I have to do. This is what I want to do. So anytime you want to talk about anything or want to do anything, I want to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would want anybody in the Shed Rat family who's watching to know that invitation absolutely would go out to the rest of them as well. It's not just coming to me. So
yes, for sure.
Yeah, we appreciate what you're doing, Jared, and we hope that everything that's going on here just keeps progressing and gets a foothold and just keeps climbing.
Well, I appreciate you guys being a part of it and believing in everything and jumping on, because I really think that we're about to kickstart something that's going to be bigger than what we have ever perceived things, to turn out as. And I'm really excited for things, and I think it hasn't even been a year yet, man, and we've done so much.
Yeah, how many bands are on the roster?
14.
There you go.
Yeah, 14.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think wasn't it only like maybe 9 or so when we first joined?
I don't even think we had that many. I think that's if you counted all my projects, and I quit counting those.
Yeah, I don't think I would count those either. I mean, that's just automatic placement. So
yeah. See, I did that to pad stats for a little while.
There you go. Once you filled the roster, you're like, yeah, we can pull these guys.
Yeah. we just play shows every once in a while, and I'm in all of them. Nobody wants to hear that.
Right.
So I'd rather show off other people's stuff. But yeah, we've grown so much, and we're on such a good, positive track. We all get frustrated because we've grown so fast, and we all are used to instant gratification that we want to just we freak out a little bit every now and then because we want it to happen now, and we know that we're capable of it. We just don't quite have it yet, and we're getting so close to it. I can smell the food. I'm just not allowed to take a bite yet, and we're gonna get there. And I'm gonna have to unbutton my pants by the end of the year and sit back with my big old Thanksgiving belly and we're gonna get ours. It's gonna take a little while.
Okay, man.
I think we're gonna get there, man. It's been a really good experience.
As long as you don't lose the hunger, man. Stay hungry, and you keep
always hungry. Always hungry. All right, man. Well, I really appreciate it. Like I said, thank you again for stopping by and talking with all of us, and be looking forward to airing this bad boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But,
I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Yeah. So get a hold of me sometime soon. We'll get something set up with me and you and Brett and anybody else. If you guys want to try and get everybody in on it, like I'd really like to talk to everybody else too, because I feel like me and David also have a lot in common.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, man. Well, everybody, thanks for stopping by for this episode of The Whole Conversation, and stay tuned for a video from the featured artist.
you.